What's up, guys? Today I thought we'd revisit the iPhone 12. This is really one of the best iPhones you can pick up right now if you're looking for a affordable iPhone in the used refurbished marketplace and you have a budget of about 300 bucks. Because you can pretty much get these in really good condition. This one I got, I actually think I got this off eBay used, but they had these Amazon Renew for $319, and it's a really good deal, guys. I'm going to explain why this is one of the best iPhones. It's aged really well. Now, one of the best things about this iPhone is that it pretty much looks like an iPhone 15 besides like the camera, being rearranged. But it still looks great. It still has the boxy edges. It still looks very modern. So that's one of the things I really like about it. It still has that really nice, fresh, modern look to it. It's IP68 dust and water resistant as well too. And yeah, I think it still looks very good, even with the notch up top, because you got to remember Apple didn't actually get rid of the notch until the iPhone 15 actually. Yeah, they didn't even get rid of the notch to the iPhone 15, so it still looks fairly modern for an older iPhone. The screen on the iPhone 12 is still pretty good. It has a 6.1-inch display, so it's pretty easy to one-hand this device. And also, it does have a completely flat panel as well too. And again, you have the notch up top here. But this phone also has the Super Retina XDR OLED display. It's HDR10. It gets up to 1200 nits peak brightness as well too. So it's pretty visible outdoors. I don't have too much of an issue when you're taking photos in direct sunlight and stuff like that. Also, this phone, it does have a pretty nice resolution as well too. It's 1170 by 2532. So it is pretty sharp panel with I think the PPI is 460, and overall it's a very nice looking display. I have no issues with the panel on this phone. And again, Apple's notch, when you compare it to Android and stuff like that, it does look a little bit outdated. It's been outdated for a while. They're actually now just starting to catch up. But besides that, it's a really nice display. Like I said, pretty good outdoors, very sharp, very good color profile. It's just an overall really good display, so I don't really have anything negative to say. This phone does not have any type of 90 hertz or 60 hertz. Like I said, Apple was kind of late to a lot of that stuff. But for a 60 hertz phone, I think it's fairly smooth. Yeah, I can tell it's 60 hertz because I use a lot of 120 hertz, 144 hertz phones. But yeah, so the phone on here, I don't think most Apple people would even care. The display on here is fine. I have no issues with it. Alright, so let's talk about the software. This is the reason why I would pick this up, because you do have iPhone 11s. The iPhone 11 is still a pretty good choice. You can find those for, I think, roughly 250 to, yeah, a little bit under 250 if you look hard enough. But I would spend the extra the extra $50, $60 and get the iPhone 12. That's if you plan on keeping it for a long time, because this phone, it should get up to iOS 20. So we are on iOS 17.1 and it's running really well. It's not slow at all. This phone is blazing fast. I actually did a YouTube short and a lot of people were surprised at how fast the iPhone 12 was compared to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So it's still a very speedy phone. You pretty much have all the same software features as well too, essentially. So overall, like I said, if you're going to get an iPhone and you want to keep it for a long time, I would get the iPhone 12. Like I said, just spend that extra 70 bucks, and because I know a lot of people, when they think of the best cheapest iPhone, you're probably going to go towards the iPhone 11. But as that phone is getting older, I would just spend a little bit extra money depending on how long you keep phones, right? All right, let's talk about the actual specs here. This is where the iPhone 12 really just shines. So this phone has the Apple A14 chip on here. One of the strange things with this phone and with a lot of these older iPhones is that it has 64 gigs of internal storage, which I don't think is gonna cut it for most people. Like I said, if you're like me and you don't take like a lot of videos and download a ton of stuff, you could get away with 64 gigs. But if you're taking a lot of photos and videos and downloading a lot of games, you probably want to get them 128 gig. But yeah, besides that, this is still a phenomenal phone when it comes to performance. I mean, this thing is really fast. Even playing PUBG, we're at HDR Extreme, and it does a great job with gaming. This phone does kind of get a little warm. I've never had it actually crash on me or anything like that, And again, I'm not like a huge gamer that's going to be gaming for hours, but to get a couple matches in on PUBG or Call of Duty or whatever you're playing, this phone will definitely do the job. I really didn't notice too much of a difference from, just as a casual gamer, even from the iPhone 15. I didn't see too much of a difference, right? So if you are trying to, game on the cheap, I would definitely buy this for that reason. It does a fantastic job. Like I said, there's pretty much no issue with gaming. And like I said, I haven't ran into any issues of, this like crashing and stuff like that. But as you guys can see, very consistent with 60 frames. So gaming on here is pretty good. And also I'll show you guys the Geekbench scores so you can compare those. But here are the Geekbench scores, and you can see your multi-core score, which Apple chips are just really well made, since they have such great integration between the chip and iOS. So overall, this is a super fast phone when it comes for gaming and just bouncing in and out of application. It doesn't feel slow at all. The phone has stereo speakers on it, so let's max the volume out, test it out. Pretty good amount of bass out these speakers, so that's really nice. And if you cover the bottom speaker, you still get a pretty good amount of bass out of this top speaker. Also, the vibrations on this phone are pretty good as well too. And you also have face unlock on here, which works really well, so no issues with that. Alright, so let's talk about the cameras. So I'm going to say the cameras are still really good in my opinion, just looking at the shots and just, taking photos with it. I think like the only thing you would be missing out from the newer iPhones is like the cinematic mode and, the higher resolution, modes like the raw, photo modes and stuff like that. But if you're just somebody that's snapping photos, you are just taking videos, this does a really good job. So it has a 12 megapixel standard and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 4K 60, and then you also have a 12 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60 as well. I was pretty impressed with the shots on here. I really didn't have anything to complain about. You have really good color on here, really good dynamic range. The standard iPhone, models don't have any type of telephoto lens, but if you just come in to like 2 times, still it's gonna give you a pretty decent shot for the most part. The ultra wide is very consistent with the main lens in terms of color, pretty good resolution there. Overall, I was really happy. Even in sort of lower light situations, it still does a somewhat decent job as well too. So overall, I think the iPhone 12's camera is actually pretty good. Video, like I said, very solid on here as well too. So I think for $300, this is still a very capable phone. Like I said, if you want to see the shots next to the iPhone 15 Pro Max so you can kind of see the comparison, check that out. I do have a comparison on that. But overall, very good photos with the iPhone 12. Selfie cam also does a pretty good job as well too. Now, battery life is pretty decent on the iPhone 12. Now, it is going to depend, so I would definitely, when you buy especially if you're buying on eBay, always ask for the battery health percentage. So you just come in here and go to battery health, and you can see mine is on 88%. If you're buying a refurbished, they're not allowed to give you any refurbished, iPhone under 80%. So I would definitely try to aim for this 85 and up. That's where you would kind of want to be in that range. And I've been getting pretty good battery life on mine, so this phone definitely, you gotta charge it, but I feel like it's not as bad as something like the iPhone 11, which has somewhat decent battery life, but I feel like I can squeeze 6 hours of screen on time out of this as a lighter user. So I really like it. And also you do have the MagSafe on here as well too that you can take advantage of, so you can put the MagSafe accessories on the iPhone 12 as well too, which is really nice. It also has just standard wireless charging. And so overall, the iPhone 12, it's a pretty good device for going into 2024. If you have an older iPhone, like an iPhone 8, an iPhone 10, 10s, stuff like that, this is a very good jump because you're getting a much better display, a much updated design on here. You're also getting a much faster phone as well too, and then you're going to get those iOS updates for at least the next 3 years. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.